everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a video that I've seen going around on YouTube here a little bit. Lisa at SincerelyLGS tagged me on her video, so I decided to do it. Otherwise I might not have. But this is the picking 10 palettes out of your collection. So basically, you know, the world has gone awry and you are only allowed to keep 10 palettes for the rest of your life. Which 10 would you pick? So that is what I did. I have 130 palettes, eyeshadow palettes. I know Lisa picked some face palettes. I didn't. I don't know if that's cheating or not. This is strictly eye palettes because I couldn't choose any less and I wasn't going to waste any with face palettes. I'll just use singles. I don't need a face palette that badly. So yeah, these are the 10 palettes, at least for today, that if I had to only pick 10 and forever use these, I'm sorry to the rest of my collection, but these are what I would choose. Again, just today. Tomorrow it could be entirely different. It probably would be entirely different. And I'm sure a month from now I'd be like, what am I thinking? But yeah, again, today these are the 10 that I would pick. Starting things off with one of my favorite palettes of all time. It's by Laqa and it's this Desert Mirage palette. And I'm not sure what it is about this palette. It doesn't have a mirror, but the packaging I love because it is very much inspiring as to what is inside the palette, and it's just a soft, pretty palette. It's got greens and blues, which I absolutely love, and then it's got some softer shades in there. I can get a variety of looks out of this without a problem. The formula on this is beautiful as well. There's just something that I'm drawn to when it comes to this palette, and I've said it before, this is probably my favorite palette out of my collection. I wouldn't want to just ever have just this one because I would feel very bored after a while, but yeah, I don't know. There's something about this palette that makes me want to always have it, and when I think of my favorite palette, this is the one at the top of my list. I have a couple of ABH palettes. Anastasia Beverly Hills shadows aren't my favorite. I find they crease very easily on me. They're very finicky on the staying power on my eyes, which I don't have that problem with any other shadows, but for whatever reason, the ABH ones don't like to stay on my eyes. They like to crease. Yeah, it's just, they like to fade. I'm not sure why. Usually if I use the Milani eyeshadow primer with it, that is a sticky and tacky enough base that I don't have a problem with it. So I always know that I need to use those. But her palettes are really, really pretty and I do enjoy them. And they perform well as when you're putting them on. They blend out nicely. They look beautiful. It's just the staying power for me is a little bit lacking. So I just have to be careful with the eye primer I use. Having said that, I do have two in my top 10. I have the Jackie Aina palette, which is this one right here. If you haven't seen it before, it is this beautiful palette. I did wear this for Christmas, I believe, Christmas Eve, and I used this shade, Wiggle, I don't know. I used this shade here for Christmas all over my lid and had some lashes on, and it just felt very festive. But yeah, I mean, this isn't just a Christmas time palette by any means, but just the colors in here are just deep and jewel tones, and they are what I gravitate towards, and I love this palette. The other ABH one I have is the Riviera palette, and it looks like this. And again, you have these beautiful jewel tones right here. You have these mattes, and I just feel like I always get pretty looks when I use this. They're different, they're unique, and I think that's the thing that's kind of that I have going on with what I picked. It wasn't always necessarily the formula that I was going for. It was more the color story in each individual palette and the looks that I can get out of them. Because even picking 10, I'm still probably not going to be the person that's going to pick more than one palette every time I have to do my makeup. I don't like to do that. I will if I have to, but I'd rather have one palette that I can get multiple looks out of that are complete. I have a couple of palettes here from UCanBe Beauty. I have this one here, which is the Magic Spell. This is a dupe for one of the Lime Crime palettes, I believe. And I just love it because it's got those soft greens and everything in there. Those are colors that I just really enjoy using. It has the browns and the pinks in there as well. It just has a couple really unique shades to my collection. And they're ones that I gravitate towards and I really like. And then back to the jewel tones. This is the Mask palette by UCanBe, and I just really like this one. It just has these pretty purples, and then it's got your mattes over here as well. I have a Ccolor Cosmetics palette, and this is the Sundown palette, and I believe it's a dupe for Anastasia Sunset palette. I think that's the one it is. And this is what it looks like. And you're basically getting all your warm tones, your oranges, all those kind of things that, you know, might suit the mood one time. You get that out of this palette. I also have, because I love shimmers and I feel I have enough mattes in all of these palettes that I can have an all shimmer palette. This I don't believe is available anymore, but it's a 35E palette. And these are all shimmers. And so you got your lighter ones and it goes up, and you got some of the darker ones, some taupes and all that sort of thing. I really like this palette. I got this palette when the Too Faced, what is it, the Sweet Peach palette originally came out, because I didn't want to just buy that palette. I liked some of the shades. So I picked this palette up, and then I picked up some mattes from Makeup Geek, just like I think 4 or 5 mattes, so that I could get complete looks with this and that. And I felt like I pretty well duped out a lot of the colors that I really liked out of the Sweet Peach palette. But I didn't pick the singles, I just picked this. And again, there's enough mattes in the other palettes where for something like that I'll dig into other palettes to get the mattes for this. The next 2 palettes I have are both from Makeup Revolution, Revolution Beauty, I Heart Revolution. Yeah, I think we covered all their names. But I have the Sweet and Tasty Popcorn palette, and I also have the Lemon Drizzle palette. So this one, again, this color story in this one is just beautiful. It's got the purples, but it also has those blues in there. Things that I gravitate to, at least at this point in my life. And then again, we have this one, which is probably very similar to the Sundown palette that I just showed you, but it's got those yellows and those oranges in there. It has this really kind of cool coral color right here as well. I really do enjoy the I Heart Revolution line. So yeah, these were bound to be in there because I have a ton of their palettes. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Palette number 10 that I would pick would be from Violet Voss. This is the Sugar Crystals palette. If you haven't seen this before, it is a rainbow palette, so to speak, which I'm not a huge rainbow person, but I do like color, and I love this palette for color. You have a whole row here of mattes, and then you have corresponding duochromes and shimmers in these 2 rows here. And it's just a really easy palette to use, especially if you are someone who wants to start out with color and it kind of scares you a bit. This makes it a little bit easy. Or maybe you're someone like me. I prefer, if I wear color, to have more of a monochrome look instead of the stark difference between something on my lid and something in my crease. So this works perfect for me as well, and I feel like it'll go well with some of these other palettes that have some of the colors and stuff in them with the mattes. So that is why I chose that. Again, this is what I chose today. Tomorrow, probably completely different. In a month, again, I probably will shake my head and say, what were you doing? This was actually a little bit harder than I thought it would be to do, just because I have a lot of palettes, and then I'm like, well, what mood am I going to be in? Like, I have to pick palettes that I'm going to like in the wintertime, and I have to pick palettes that I'm going to like in the summertime, and I have to pick palettes for when I do want to do something that's more subtle and just toned down and neutral, and I have to pick palettes for when I want to have a colorful look, or if I just want something completely out there. So I do have the variety in my collection, but it was definitely hard to narrow it down. Let me know in the comments below what palettes you would pick. Would any of these be on your list, or are there some other ones that you're thinking, Leah, you're completely missing it, you need this one? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.